Anyone from the group nila Bragas? Okay, by the way, no, sino pang group dito yung walang copy ng content ng kanilang topic para sa group presentation? Okay, sila Rona. Sino, anong week kayo assigned, Rona?
Week 15 po ata, sir.
Week 15. Okay. Pwedeng mag-ano ka mamaya, mag-message.
Sige po, sir. Noted po.
Para maibigay ko na sa inyo yung content ng PowerPoint. And I think as well as akin na Ferdinand. Sa inyo, Ferdinand, anong week number kayo assigned?
17 po, sir.
17. Week 17. Double check ko lang, ha? Wala naman tayong Ferdinand. Wala naman tayong week number 17.
Basta, sir, ano po kami, sir, eh. Second to the last po kami.
If it is second to the last, Ferdinand, Mabalatan, tama? Week kayo assigned? Week 15. Sa week 15 kayo assigned, Ferdinand. Kasama mo sila, Buñol, Botona, Sakdalan, tsaka Pontepedra. So kung wala pa kayo copy no content para sa PowerPoint, mag-send kayo sa akin ng message para maibigay ko sa inyo. So aside sa kila Ron at saka kay Ferdinand, meron pa dito? Yung wala pang file nung kanilang group presentation. Yung week 14. So week 14 kasi group nila Barredo, De Castro, Huwet, Manrique, tsaka Sarcil. Barredo, meron na kayo copy?
Wala pa po, sir.
Ayan, please message nyo ko, ha? Kasi by next week, ang magpe-present will be week number 13. Then for ang week 14 kasi, it will be Holy Week. Ayan, so most likely wala tayong klase kasi pagka Holy Wednesday usually half day lang 'yon. I don't know if you still remember, no? Kahit way back pa ng 2022, laging declared, no, half day yung Wednesday. Kaya yung week 14 magpe-present kayo ng topic by week 15. So magsasabay kayo ni week 15 at saka ni week 14. So hanggang lang tayo, week number 16. So by next week, no, I will be I will introduce to you yung dalawang tool na ginagamit, no, for vulnerability scanning. Then perhaps pagka may time pa, let's browse, no, yung mga legal site, no, sa dark web para lang at least, no, ma-idea kayo paano ba yung mga onion websites na yun, onion, no, ganun. At least may idea kayo. Dapat din, no, ang papasukin natin mga sites doon, mga legal. Ayan. Yung mga onion, no, kailangan natin ng mga onion website. Yeah, so yun yung next week. Then, by most likely, baka ang gawin ko sa week 14, kasi Holy Week yun, baka asynchronous na lang tayo nun. Okay? So, sila Bragas, ready na kayo? At least start tayo para maaga natin matapos yung natin ngayon, no?
Yes, po, sir.
Discussion, okay? So, if you're ready, you may present your presentation to you may share your screen to start your presentation.
Malinaw naman po yung voice po.
Yes.
Thank you po.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So, good afternoon everyone. Today's news is both serious and alarming, lalo na ang Pilipinas ngayon ay nagkakagulo at namumroblema sa seguridad ng bansa. So, reveal na natin ang news for today. Okay. Last week of February, may nangyaring cyber attack against the Philippine military exposing highly confidential information. We have 4 agendas for today's news. Now, we will begin by discussing the recent cyber attacks on the Philippine Army. Okay. According to the Philippine Army, isang local hacker group successfully infiltrated their system at nagkaroon ng data breaches. Philippine Army spokesperson Colonel Louis de Maala confirmed that countermeasures are already being implemented. He also revealed that this was not the first attempt by the hackers. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang isang beses na nag-try sila na i-attack ang system ng Philippine Army. So, medyo panic mode sila dahil sa this raises major concerns about the state of the country's cybersecurity defenses. A digital security advocacy group known as Deep Web Connect later identified the perpetrators behind the attack. A group known as Exodus Security, sila ay well-known hackers. Sa report ng Deep Web Connect, ini-indicate that the breach compromised 10,000 records containing highly sensitive personal data of active and retired military such as names, ranks, addresses, medical records, and financial data. Dahil sa nagkaroon ng exposure ang information nila, yung mga dating mga soldier and active soldiers, they are put at risk, making them potential targets for identity theft, blackmail, or pwedeng sundan sila. So, ang Exodus Security Group ay originally founded around February 4, 2009. Nagsimula sila as a Red Team Specialist Group, meaning ng Red Team Specialist ay isang team of ethical hackers who simulate cyber attacks to test security vulnerabilities. Pero over time, ang group na ito ay biglang nagbago, naging high-profile hacktivism sila, and ginagamit nila yung expertise nila sa penetration testing to launch attacks against government infrastructure. Itong si Exodus Security ay na-link na rin sa maraming major cyber attacks, including DDoS or Distributed Denial of Service attack, mga data breaches exposing classified information, and sila rin ang isa sa nagkakos ng misinformation campaigns. Isa sila sa rason kung bakit may mga kumakalat ng fake news. In February kasi, may nangyaring leakage of sensitive data from lottery winners sa PCSO. Nileak ng grupo na to yung information ng mga winners doon sa loto. So, ayun, example of how fake news can be used to manipulate public perception. Kasi sinabi nila doon, yun daw yung mga pangalan ng mga winners doon sa loto kahit hindi naman talaga. Sinabi ni Chester D, isa siya sa cybersecurity specialist, na warning to sa atin kasi yung current situation exposes the weaknesses in the Philippine military cybersecurity. Sinabi niya na kung ang mga local hackers natin could penetrate government system like military system, nagre-raise ito ng potential threats from countries na sponsored to attack, katulad ng China, Russia, or North Korea. Sabi niya, kung kaya ng local hackers, paano na kaya ang foreign hackers na mas may resources at magagaling? He also stated that following the arrest of former President Duterte, nagkaroon ng surge in cyber attacks against government agencies. Tinitake advantage ng mga hackers katulad ng grupo na binanggit natin kanina. Ginagamit ng mga hackers na to to attack the government's infrastructure. Dahil nga marami mag-a-attack, nag-i-increase yung frequency ng attack sa government, sabay-sabay. Parang nahihirapan yung government sa sobrang dami. Sabi rin niya, ang na-detect nilang attacks from last week after Duterte's arrest, ang na-detect nila na attacks is 70,000 to 80,000 malicious attempts of different types of cyber attacks. Ayan, that's all po.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful news. Well, actually, for us, hindi na bago yung mga ganyang incident in our government, no? We're being victimized by hacking group. Kaya lang by this time, lucky, no? Lucky ang Philippine government is because it's not the anonymous. Kaya lang yung group na anonymous. Actually, mga ano yun. Back 2000, I think 2009 pa. Parang ganun din. Mga batikang mga hacker yung mga nandun. Even yung actually they are the one behind, no, yung hacking ng Sony way back 2012, anonymous yun. And even 2010 ata yun. Actually nag-warn sila sa Facebook, no, that they're going to hack Facebook. Kaya lang, I'm not really sure what happened. So that time, I was still in Singapore. Sabi ko nga, magandang mamahack, no, mamatry i-hack, no, ni Anonymous yung Facebook to test if Facebook itself, no, is yung kailang data center is really secured. Kasi imagine, di ba, ilang billions of data, nasa petabyte na ata yung data na meron, no, si Facebook. And imagine if those data were will be exposed, di ba, to the public. So yung mga data na yun, it could be part of, alam niyo na, yung mga sensitive conversation, di ba? Yung mga exchange of information that is sensitive. Ayan. And so as for the government, most likely mga intel, no, information, yeah, well, kung sabi allegedly na na-hack daw, pero sinearch ko sa internet yun, parang ayaw tanggapin ata, no, ng Philippine Army na na-hack talaga sila. Even the PCSO, alam ko din sila na tinry din sila i-hack or hinak din sila ng Exodus, but then false claim daw yun. O kaya lang, yun nga, if it was really happened, no? Just imagine yung mga sensitive info that was stolen, di ba? From the Philippine government. Yeah, so sa atin, malit na school lang naman ng PLMON, tama? To be the target ng ganitong grupo, but usually yung mga hacking group, ang tina-target nila is yung mga government offices, kung saan, no, mga hindi maganda yung mga service na binibigay sa public. It's one way, para sabihin natin, parang rebellion act. Ayan. Kaya lang, sabi ko nga, we all should be careful, no? Kasi lahat naman may possibility ma-trace, no, kahit gumagamit pa tayo ng VPN, even if we're using virtual machine, no, to hide our identity, there's still a possibility na ma-trace ka pa rin. And so far, walang kumbaga, sabihin natin, by means of a lot of patience, so yung mga batikang kriminal, di ba, mga hacker, still nahuhuli pa rin sila end of the day. Yeah, no, thank you, Bragas, no, for sharing that news. Ayan, thank you. Actually, no, I heard a comment from Sir Paz tsaka kay Sir Maglaya. Sabi nung dalawang program head na yun, sa third year, ang CS3B daw talaga is ibang level. Oh, yun. Well, I'm not hindi ko naman kayo ni-spoil. Pero yun nga, kasi nabigyan na din ako feedback sa kanila between doon sa hawak kong section. Marami daw magaling sa CS3B. Ayun, sabi ko parang di naman. Actually sabi ni Sir Paz tsaka ni Sir Paul. Ayun, especially na-mention ata nila si Bragas, ayun. Sabi nila Sir Paz tsaka ni Lizarcon. Okay? Ayan. So hopefully, yan, no? Continue lang, di ba, until matapos tong natin na tong semester. Kasi ang natin, ang finals, no, hanggang lang tayo dito, week 16. So yung week 17, so I will not be including that kasi hindi naman din siya kasama do sa final exam. So I will not be including yung week 17, but instead yun nga, no, whatever things that I can teach you regarding with ethical hacking, so yun ang i-share ko sa week number 17. Kaya nga by next week, tina-target ko, maituro ko yung paggamit ng NICTO, Nmap, SQL map, at saka some basic things, no? Yung paano gumamit ng, ayun nga, yung Tor, ayan. Di ba, the onion ring, ayun yung Tor. Kasi, kailangan kasi pag pag pumunta ka sa deep web, sa dark web, dapat naka-anonymous ka. Kaya ang gagamitin kong browser, no, to browse some sites na sa dark web is yung DuckDuckGo. Ayan. So by by Monday, by next week, after nung week number 13 presentation. Okay? Ayan. So actually yung yung next group, they will be presenting. Yes, tama, yung TOR, Tor. Actually, reformat ko ulit yung virtual machine kasi nag-demo ako sa CS3C last time. Kaya ayun, i-reinstall ko siya. Then, pakita ko lang sa inyo paano mag-install kasi ang gagamitin ko is yung Kali Linux. Ayaw talaga gumana ng Parrot OS. Ang Parrot OS kasi, by default, meron na siyang Tor proxy. Kasi mahalaga yun, no, yung Tor. Alam niyo, kasi kailangan yung IP address niyo, no, hindi lang naka-stick sa isang location. Dapat nag-jump out yan. Nag-jump out ba? No, to different location. Para yun, mas mahirap kang matrace. Although traceable pa rin, but then it will take some time. Kung we are not doing some malicious things naman, just browsing the web, kung hindi ka naman nila tatargetin. So, yun naman ang mahalaga doon. So, yung week 11, no? So, they will be presenting, which is a continuation ng week 10, which is all about, no? Yung preparation sa pag-create ng system security plan. Pinakapuso ng isang cyber security preparedness, no, sa isang organization kasi yan, formal document. Document yan, actually document. So parang kang gumagawa dito ng capstone project, yan, documentation yan, no, kung paano parang outline siya, no? Outline siya ng organization security policy, kasama yun doon. Yung mga procedure and mga access control, paano nila poprotektahan, no, yung kanilang information system. In short, blueprint, no, ng isang organization sa pag-manage ng cybersecurity risk. Ayan. Para lang makasigurado sila na compliance sila, no, with security standard. So, yung topic, no, na i-discuss nila ngayon, week, no, 11. So, still a continuation ng week number 10. Ayan. So, andyan na yung group assigned sa week 11.
Nandito na po, sir.
Ayan, sige, kung ready na kayo, can we start? So, hopefully mamatapos nila, no, within 30 to 40 minutes para hindi tayo abutin masyado ng hindi abutin ng 8, no, hanggat maaari. Okay, sige, start na tayo, no, sa week 11.
Okay na. So, good evening everyone. Today we're here to present the security architecture diagram. I'd like to invite Mr. Mangoba to lead us through the first part of our report. Mr. Mangoba, the floor is yours.
Hello, am I audible? Next slide po. Okay, so introduction to security architecture. Security architecture is a structured framework that defines the policies, models, and technical controls needed to protect an organization's information systems. It ensures data confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Next slide, please. So this is the security architecture diagram. So to explain po, no, so the internet po, yan, dyan po tayo nagsisimula. And then lahat naman po siguro tayo is aware sa firewall. So when we break down this as super simply po, no, yung internet po it's wild. So anything can happen in the internet. So before anyone enters po sa internet, there's like a firewall. That's like the city gates po, no. That's the it filters out the bad traffic, hackers, malware, and suspicious activities. And then there's the router. It's like the traffic controller po kapag nasa kalsada. So think of this as the central hub that directs internet traffic to different locations in the city. Parang ganun nga po siya. So there are the servers, or we call this in a metaphorical sense buildings and facilities po. So ayan po. And then the honeypot. So this is what developers and cybersecurity majors do to trap the hackers and the malwares po. And then there's another firewall po para maging secure po mas lalo yung system po natin. And then there's the client machine, and that's your computer po. Next slide, please.
This is important. Safeguard critical access, protecting data, network, and system. Security architecture is initial in safeguarding organization critical access, ensuring protections for cyber threats, unauthorized access, data, and breaches. Here how it's protect key component, data protections, data loss prevention, DLP, monitor and prevent unauthorized data sharing, network security, virtual private networks, VPNs, connect to prevent unauthorized access, prepare organization to respond quickly to security breaches, 2. Reduce cybersecurity risk, mitigate threats like some work, phishing, and DDoS attack, prevents unauthorized access, role-based access control, RBAC, ensure that user-owned access information necessary for their role, mitigate cyber threats, firewall and IDS, block malicious traffic and suspicious activity, reduces human error in site threats, cybersecurity awareness training, education, employees on phishing, social engineering, and best security practice. 3. Ensure regulations, data private law like GDPR, General Data Protection Regulations, environmental regulations, following environmental law and regulations, financial reporting, comply with financial report requirements, meeting regulation specific to particular healthcare and technology for enhanced business, minimize downtime and data loss, data backup, recover regular automatic backup, and ensure that data can be quickly restored in case of cyber attack or system failure, enhance customer and partner trust, customer confident, strong security framework, customer trust by ensuring their data and transactions are safe, 5 provide clear operation guideline, establish role, responsibility, and protocol. They ensure that tasks are performed that same way every time, regardless of how it's doing them. They streamline process and reduce waste time and resources. Their time organizations mean requirements and standards. They minimize the risk of mistake and the service as variable to support training new employers and ensuring the environment is up to date on security control are next slide please. Security control are into three main types. One, administrative control are the foundation of short security policy, production, and practice designing to reduce or implement hazard by changing how people work rather than physical removing the hazard or using engineering control. Administrator control focus on changing work process and behavior to minimize exposed to hazard. There are often implemented through policy, training, and supervisions. Two, technical control are implemented using technology to prevent and respond to threat like hardware, software protections, security measure implement throughout technology such as firewall and access control to protect system and data and network from unauthorized access and cyber threats. Technical control are security safeguard the technology to and technology to enforce security policy and protect digital assets. Piece 3, physical control ensure the protection of hardware and data center and physical security. Security means that use tangible meaning to restrict access to equipment and resources such as life security personnel. Next slide.
Defense in depth or DID. A multi-layered security approach with overlapping controls to mitigate risk. So si defense in depth or DID po is security approach siya na may multiple layers of mechanism siya para po maprotektahan yung information natin. Hindi lang po single defense pero multiple controls po na nag-work together para po ma-reduce yung risk. For core principles, layered security. Ito po yung multiple security measures niya. And for two po, diversity of defense. Nagamit po siya ng various security techniques po para po ma-avoid po ang single failure. And fail-safe design for last po the principle, ensuring that security measures default to a safe state in case of failures. Examples po is firewall and IDS for network security. Si firewall po yung nagbo-block ng unauthorized traffic while si IDS po ang nag-monitor ng suspicious activities. Data encryption and data loss prevention or DLP. Encryption protects data from unauthorized access while si DLP naman po ang nagpo-prevent ng sensitive data sa pag-leak. Multi-factor authentication or MFA for user access. Ito po, nagre-require ng multiple forms of authentication, password po or fingerprint para ma-enhance security.
Okay, so ito po yung castle model of cybersecurity, no? So everyone here naman po siguro is nakakita na po ng model ng castle, no? So there are walls, there are guards, there are places that needs protection po. So same lang din po sa loob ng cybersecurity, no? So the first layer po that we'll see is like number 5, the drawbridge. So we call it the drawbridge because it controls who enters and leaves the castle. So basically, this is like VPN, identity authentication, and secure connections po that ensures that only trusted people and devices can access the network or the castle. So the second layer is layer 4. So information access. So not everyone in the castle can enter the treasure room, right? So this layer controls who can access what using user authentication, security policies, and access monitoring. So the third layer is layer 3, operating system hardening, or as I call it, the inner castle defense. So even if someone gets inside the walls, the inner defenses make sure they don't get far. So this means configuring systems properly using anti-malware, encrypting files, and setting up backups to keep systems strong and resilient. So this is like the honeypot that I have explained earlier. Then layer number 2, physical protection. So in my interpretation and metaphorical sense, the castle walls and guards. So a castle needs strong walls and guards to stop intruders before they even get close. So this layer ensures physical securities with cameras, secured server rooms, and restricted access. So it's very secure, like a bank. So the last layer is the critical information, or as I call the treasure vault. Since it's called a treasure vault because this is the most important part. Your actual data and sensitive information are inside the treasure vault. Like how a king stores gold in a heavily secured vault, we categorize data and use application hardening to prevent unauthorized access. So why does it matter po ba? So without strong defenses, hackers and malwares can storm the castle and steal your data. Since the more layers you have, the harder it is for attackers to break through. Just like a real fortress, cybersecurity isn't just one thing. It's a system of overlapping defenses. Okay, so next slide, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mangoba. Now let's begin with the security education, training, and awareness o SETA. So, ano ba muna ang SETA? Ang SETA program ay ginawa para magkaroon ng security-first culture sa isang kumpanya. Ibig sabihin, lahat mula sa pinakamataas hanggang sa empleyado, dapat alam ang priority ang cybersecurity. Meron itong 3 core elements: security education, security training, at security awareness. First is security education. Security education focuses on advanced learning for security professionals. Ibig sabihin, kailangan magkaroon ng mas malalim na kaalaman at expertise sa cybersecurity. Dito pumapasok yung pagkakuha ng certifications gaya ng Certified Information System Security Professionals o CISSP. Certified Ethical Hacker o CEH. Pangalawa, security training. Security training naman ay para sa lahat ng mga empleyado para matuto silang kumilala at tumugon sa iba't ibang security threats. Kasama rito yung mga simulated phishing exercise para matutunan kung paano makita ang mga fake emails at scam. Incident response training para malaman naman ang tamang paggagawin kapag may security breach. Dahil dito, nababawasan yung human error na sa isa sa pinakamalaking dahilan ng cybersecurity attacks. And lastly, security awareness. Security awareness is ongoing campaigns to keep cybersecurity best practice at the forefront of the employee's mind. Ginagawa ito sa pamamagitan ng regular awareness campaigns, pagpapalakas ng mga security policies gamit ang engaging materials, newsletter at security updates para manatiling update ang mga empleyado sa mga bagong threats at tamang response strategies. Poster at visual reminders. Paglalagay ng mga security tips sa mga common areas para mapanatili ang cybersecurity hygiene. By continuously reinforcing security awareness, organization reduce the risk of human-related security breaches. Next slide. Now we'll discuss the continuity strategies. While a strong security posture helps prevent cyber threats, businesses must also be prepared for unforeseen disruptions such as cyber attacks, natural disaster, or system failures. Continuity strategies ensure business resilience during disruption, reducing operational and reputational damage. Ang key strategies nito ay una, minimize downtime, siguraduhin na mabilis maibalik yung mga systems at operations. Pangalawa, protect sensitive data. Pigilan po yung mga unauthorized access o data loss. Third po, maintain the customer trust. Panatiliin ang tiwala po ng mga customers sa negosyo kahit may disruptions. Now let's have Mr. Ramirez discuss processing involved in continuity strategies. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. We discussed about continuity strategies. What is continuity strategies? Ito ay isang plano para matiyak na ang organisasyon ay makakabalik sa normal na operasyon matapos ang isang aberya o sakuna. Processes involved. Number 1, threat identification, prioritization using risk matrix. Para sa isang bangko, tulad ng isa na rito ay isang halimbawa. Para sa isang bangko, ang mga banta ay maaaring kabibilangan ng cyber attack, pagkawala ng kuryente, lindol at pagbaha. Gamit ang risk matrix, matutukoy na ang cyber attacks ay may mataas na posibilidad at mataas na epekto dahil sa sensitibong impormasyon ng mga kliyente. And then, number 2, business unit analysis, BOA, to identify critical function. Ito ay ang mga critical na function ng bangko ay maaaring kinabibilangan ng mga proseso ng transaction, pagbabayad ng ATM at pagpapanatili ng online banking. And then, number 3, potential damage assessment to estimate operational, financial, and reputational impact. Isa na rito ay ang pagkawala ng data dahil sa cyber attack ay maaaring magdulot ng milyong-milyong pisong pinsala at makasira ng reputasyon ng isang bangko. Analyze financial and operational impact. Batay sa mga pagsusuri na ito, ang bangko ay gagawa ng mga estratehiya tulad ng backup system, disaster recovery plan, at insurance para matiyak ang pagpapatuloy ng operational kahit may aberya. Next slides, please. Subordinate plan classification. Subordinate plan are specialized components of the primary security policy focusing on specific scenarios. So, ito ay nagpapakita ng mga espesyal na plano na tumutugon sa iba't ibang aspeto ng seguridad at pagpapatuloy ng negosyo. Then, types is Incident Response Plan, IRP, detect, contains, eradicate, and recover from incident. Ang RIP, dito, dito mo malalaman kung may cyber attack na naglalayong nakawin ang mga record ng pasyente. Isa na rin po ang halimbawa nito ay isang ospital, kung saan po ang RIP ay magsasabi kung paano tukuyin ang pinanggagalingan ng atake, paano pipigilan ang pagkalat nito, paano aalisin ang malware at paano ibabalik ang mga sistema. Disaster Recovery Plan, DRP, Restore IT System After Major Incident. Dito malaman kung nagkaroon ng malakas na lindol, ang BCP ay magsasabi kung saan ililipat ang mga pasyente, paano ipagpapatuloy ang operasyon sa ibang lugar at paano makikipag-ugnayan sa mga pamilya ng pasyente. And lastly, Crisis Communication Plan, CCP, Manage Internal and External Communication. Kung may kumakalat na balita tungkol sa kakulangan ng gamot sa ospital, ang CCP ay magsasabi kung sino ang magsasalita sa media, ano ang sasabihin at paano magbibigay ng tamang impormasyon sa mga pasyente at sa kanilang pamilya. Ang pagkakaroon ng mga kumpletong subordinate plans ay mahalaga para matiyak ang kaligtasan ng mga pasyente, empleyado at ang tuloy-tuloy na serbisyo ng ospital. Next slide please. Subordinate plan classification. Key element of an IRP. Preparation. Isang halimbawa nito ay ang isang company which is ang e-commerce company ay ang magbubuo ng IR team, mag-install ng intrusion detection system at gagawa ng patakaran tungkol sa paghawak ng data ng client. And then the next one is identification, kung saan kung may kahina-hinalang pagtaas ng login attempts, ang RI team ay mag-imbestiga para malaman kung may cyber attack na nagaganap. And then containment. Kung nakumpirma ang cyber attack, ang IR team ay mag-isolate ng mga apektadong server para pigilan ang pagkalat ng atake. And then eradication. Dito ay aalisin nila ang malware, mag-update ng mga security patches at ibabalik ang mga compromised na account. Recovery. Ibabalik nila ang normal na operation ng website at ma-implement ng mas mahigpit na seguridad. And then lesson learned. Pagkatapos ng insidente, gagawa sila ng report, mag-update ng kanilang IRP para maiwasan ng mga katulad na atake. Testing, conduct regular tabletop exercises, simulation, full-scale drills to ensure readiness. Regular silang magsasagawa ng tabletop exercise at simulation para subukan ng kanilang IRP at matiyak na handa sila sa mga posibleng insidente. And then, the next slide is followed by Mr. Brandt.
Okay po. So, hello, it's me again, no? So, why does this matter for third year CS students? So, all right, no? Let's be real. Why should you care about security architecture, no? As a third year CS student, you're not just learning how to code anymore. You're stepping into the real-world challenges of software development, networking, and IT infrastructure. So, ayun nga, no? Nandito sa una is you'll be the first in line of defense in any tech job. So whether you're a developer, SYS admin, or network engineer, companies will expect you to understand security. A single misconfigured server Weak password policy or unpatched vulnerability can cost millions or even shut a company down. So the second is cybersecurity is a high demand skill and really pays well. So I am a living testament na cybersecurity is a high demand skill and pays well because most of my family in my father's side works in cybersecurity, and sabi nila lagi na mag-take ka cybersec kasi it's masyadong ano yan, mataas ang kita dyan, which is true. And it's on high demand. Companies need security-minded CS graduates. If you can write secure code, manage firewalls, or understand encryption, you're already ahead of your many job applicants. So next slide. Hackers love easy targets, so don't be one. If you don't take security seriously, you could be the weak link. Ever heard of SQL injections, ransomware, or MITM attacks? Knowing how attacks happen and how to prevent them keeps your own projects, data, and future employers safe. Next slide. Your final year and thesis might depend on it. So yeah, many capstone projects involve web apps, IoT, or networking, all of which need security. Even if security isn't your focus, a vulnerable project won't fly. Your professors and evaluators will call it out. Next slide. Security is a mindset, not just a lecture. Security isn't just about firewalls and encryption. It's about thinking ahead, anticipating risk, and building resilient systems. If you start thinking like a security professional now, you'll write better code, design better systems, and be a more valuable CS graduate. So whether you're working on a school project or thesis or prepping for a job, understanding security architecture will make you a stronger CS professional. The threats are real and the risks are high. And the more you know, the better prepared you'll be. So don't just see this as another lecture, see it as an investment in your future career. So that's all for today po. Thank you for listening. Maraming salamat.
Magaling naman, no? Thank you for that wonderful presentation, no? Week 11 group. Yeah, so well explained yung content, no, ng kanilang presentation. And I'm just checking if they missed, no? If they missed certain subtopic sa kanilang tawag dito, presentation. I think there is. And I'm not really sure if aware, no, yung group. I'm just checking, no. I'm just checking their presentation. Kaya ako bigyan ng copy. So ayan, no, meron sila nung subordinate plan, classification. Then I think doon natapos yung kanilang presentation, but then dapat meron pang ano yan, yung storage of, have you included this, yung storage of incident response plans? Or in
Yata namin na-include, sir.
Oh, yun, that's why, no? Ayan, yung mga best practices, no, for incident response plans, yung secure access, yung redundant copies. Kaya in case lang magkaroon ng mga data breaches, kasi part ng ano yan, no? How an organization should respond, no, to that incident, yung pagkakaroon ng offsite backup, then of course, meron kang plano, but then how are going to make sure if that plan, no, that you develop will really work well no, sa organization. That's why parang yung yung sa earthquake drill natin, tama? So yung earthquake drill, that is part nung sa kumbaga parang IRP in a way. So kaya lang to make sure na yung mga tao is really aware, no, of that parang incident response plan o yung IRP. So nagkakaroon lagi ng drill, no, just to check kung nasusunod ba, 'di ba, yung mga guidelines, anong gagawin, tama? Pag may lindol. Ayan, so kumbaga tinetest nila yung IRP. So still no, part yun ng ng SSP. So kumbaga bigyan ko na lang kayo ng actually konti lang naman yun na missed out nila. Ayan, so bigyan ko lang kayo ng copy ng presentation. Also from the other group, not from the other group, from the other section. Kasi kasama sa yun, no, sa final exam yung nabanggit ko. And of course, the things that they also missed out, yung testing frequency recommendation nung IRP, nung incident response plan, no, if it is quarterly, biannually, or even pagka may mga example, may mga bagong technology that has been added to an organization. Ayan, so kumbaga immediate, no? Kailangan kaagad mabago or ma-update yung IRP. Of course, nagiging irrelevant siya if, 'di ba, nag-introduce ka ng bagong system, no? Bagong technology. Example, may bago na kayong router, o high-end raw, may AI na, samantalang yung IRP mo, 'di ba, walang ganong klase, wala siyang ganong scope, no? Paano magre-respond yung example, yung ICT or yung whole organization itself pagka nagkaroon ng mga hacking incident, di ba? And so ang hirap din kasi pag ang isang organization walang concrete plan on how to handle yung mga ganong incident, parang sa PL Moon. So ang kami dito sa ICT, wala pa kaming written document, no, about that SSP. It's because marami pang kailangan i-comply, no, ang PL Moon itself to comply, no, lalo na sa data privacy. Ayan, so still we're on the process, no, na yun, hopefully magkaroon ng data privacy seal na yung yung PL Moon. Ayan, kasi yun nga, kumbaga sa cybersecurity parang branch siya doon kasi it associated siya sa tinatawag na confidentiality, di ba, sa CIA. Ayan, so kasama siya doon. And ayun, so if such things na happen sa PL Moon, ano kayong dapat namin gawin, 'di ba? Baga ICT, ang team, no? Ang team or department that is involved first pagka nagkaroon ng ganung incident is ICT. An example, nung na-hack, no, yung website ng PL Moon, o ano ba dapat yung gawin, no, ng ICT? O syempre, kung wala kaming guidelines, ano nga ba yung dapat namin gawin? So, lutang kami lahat nun. But then, the first thing that we did is to shut down, no, the web server, no, to stop, no, further damage to sa system. Kasi hanggat naka-up yung web server, ayan, yung port 80, ayan, no. So si hacker, magkakaroon siya ng continuous access, no, dun sa server itself. Not only that, even yung ibang server dun sa data center, pwede lang ma-penetrate yung network. Yeah, so to stop, no, to mitigate that, shutdown namin kagad yung server. Then afterwards, ayun, nagkaroon na kami ng inspection tsaka investigation. Ano pa kaya yung mga if there's such any damage, no, that has been done, like for instance, na-access ba talaga nila really, no, yung database, just like what they were claiming, no, by that time. Ayan. And so far, ayun nga, na-check namin yung log. So wala namang mga download, no, ng mga files. So kung meron man, actually those were mga data that is related to admission. Ayan, kasi naka-MySQL kasi yun. Ang pinaka-primary database ng PL Moon is SQL Server. And medyo, actually, ang security niya, mas mataas, no? Compared sa security level na pinaprovide ng MySQL. Ayan, okay? Ayan, so kumbaga, na-explore natin, no, yung mga different aspects, no, pagka magpe-prepare ka ng system security plan. So from designing, of course, yung security architecture to implementing, no, yung defense in-depth strategies, ito yung multi-layer strategy in implementing security. Ayan. Andiyan din yung SETA. And of course, yung continuity planning. Kasi hindi po pwedeng ma-halt yung service ng isang organization just like PLMoon. O pag nagda-down yung server, so what we did is nagkakaroon kami ng transition na yung mga offices na nag-access to sa online system, siniship muna namin sa local. Kasi nga talaga choke na yung server online. No? Hindi niya na kaya talaga accommodate na request. So kaya dito kami sa local still, no? That is part of our continuity plan. And okay, so we also learned how threat identification, even yung damage assessment and incident response planning play, di ba? A crucial role in securing an organization information system. So tandaan natin na ang security is an ongoing process, di ba? It requires constant evaluation, updates, and teamwork to protect critical system. And of course, as a future, di ba, IT professional, kayo yun, ang magiging role nyo will be implement and improve security measures that safeguard, di ba, both data and infrastructure. So kailangan, sabi nga, ang cybersecurity is a mindset. Yan. Always stay proactive and informed. Ayan. So siguro muna tayo, break tayo ng 10 minutes bago tayo mag-proceed dun sa second group. Ayan. So yung second group siguro mag-dry run na kayo. Kasi di ba nagkaroon kayo ng problem regarding with your presentation, i-check nyo na. So bago siguro mag-start, i-try nyo na i-share yung presentation nyo. Then tingnan nyo kung may audio. Then for the rest, for the rest of the class, mag-take muna kayo ng 10 minutes break. Then we'll be back by 6:45 p.m. Okay, can we start yung week 12 group? Can we start the group presentation?
Hello po sir, am I audible po?
Yes.
Ito po. Rinig po ba sir?
Rinig.
Okay po.
Malakas.
So I'll start the intro. So good evening everyone. Welcome to our presentation regarding preparing for the system security plan and recovery operations in information security. Today we'll be diving into 15 subtopics. Our goal for this lesson is to understand how to prepare, protect, respond, and recover from security incidents through a system security plan, and recover operations to ensure continuity and data protection. So sit back, stay tuned, and let's roll the video.
Good day everyone, I'm Martin Porcon, one of the presenters of our group task in week 12. So in today's cyber threat landscape, organizations must have a strong system security plan. Security controls and procedures to safeguard information systems. Equally important are recovery operations, which ensure quick restoration of normal operations after a breach or disruption. This presentation will cover how to prepare an SSP and implement effective recovery strategies for business continuity. For our presentation, we'll cover 15 important topics. First, there are several preparations for making a system security plan, which is all about protecting our systems from cyber threats. We have 6 topics on recovery operations, which focus on what to do kapag may cyber attack or system failure. We'll discuss each topic one by one, and everyone will present their assigned part. After the presentation, you'll understand how to prevent security issues and recover quickly kapag may problem. In short, it's all about keeping the system safe and making sure operations stay smooth. First topic, overview of the system security plan. Okay, so the system security plan is like your organization's guidebook on how to protect its systems from cyber threats. It explains how to prevent, detect, and respond to attacks, and also how to keep things running smoothly even during or after a cyber incident. So the goals of an SSP is to ensure data confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It is the CIA triad. So C is confidentiality. Only authorized people can access sensitive info, parang need-to-know basis. Integrity, where data stays accurate and can't be changed by unauthorized people. Availability, the system is always available and ready to use, especially when it's needed for important business operations. Second is minimize downtime and data loss during incidents. The SSP is there para hindi matagal ang downtime kapag may nangyari. Kung may data breach or system failure, the plan helps para hindi masyado maapektuhan ng operations. Less downtime, less hassle, and less data loss. Third is establish clear roles and responsibilities for incident management. The SSP clearly states who is responsible for what. Like, may nakatalaga na teams and people na magre-react agad when there's an incident. So walang confusion during a crisis. IT, security teams, and management should all know their roles and work together para ayusin ang problema. So the fourth is define recovery processes to resume normal operations swiftly. The SSP gives a step-by-step process on how to recover and go back to normal operations after an attack. This is super important para ma-reduce yung financial and operational impact. In short, mabilis makabalik sa business as usual. So in summary, the SSP is like a game plan for protecting your company's systems. It helps you prevent incidents, react fast when something goes wrong, and recover smoothly so the operation don't get too disrupted. So number 2, incident indicators, reaction, containment strategies, and recovery. Okay, i-breakdown natin ito para mas madali. Kapag may cyber attack, kailangan mong malaman kung paano makita ang signs. React agad, pigilan ang damage, at i-recover ang lahat pabalik sa normal. So ganito siya. A. Incident indicators, paano makikita ang signs? Ito yung mga red flags na nagsasabing may mali sa system mo. Pwedeng makita mo sila early or bago lumala o late pagkatapos ng may nangyaring damage. So, common signs to watch out for are the network activity tulad ng biglang pagtaas ng traffic, unauthorized access sa mga importanteng files o systems, unexplained file changes o biglang pagkawala ng files, system slowing down o madalas na nagka-crash. Letter B, incident reaction, agad na pag-react. Kapag alam mong may problema, kailangan mong umaksyon agad para mabawasan ang damage. So, steps to react. Detect and identify, kumpirmahin kung ano talaga ang nangyayari at gaano kaseryoso. Communicate, sabihin agad ang incident response team or IRT at ang mga key people na involved. And dapat mabilis ang galaw para walang nasasayang na oras at lahat ng tao ay alam ang dapat gawin. Letter C, containment strategies. Paano pigilan ang pagkalat ng damage? So ang containment ay tungkol sa pagpigil sa pagkalat ng attack bago ito lumala at kumalat sa buong system mo. So ways to contain the attack: isolation, access control, system lockdown, traffic filtering. Halimbawa, kung may ransomware attack, i-isolate mo agad yung affected system para hindi kumalat ang virus sa buong network. So letter D, recovery procedures. Paano ibalik sa normal? Ang recovery ay tungkol sa pag-restore ng systems at siguradong ligtas ulit lahat. Yung steps to recover: identify recovery needs, store data, system validation, documentation. Halimbawa, pagkatapos ng isang malware attack, nire-restore mo yung system gamit ang clean backups. Mag-a-apply ng security patches at sisiguraduhin safe bago ito ipagamit ulit. So in short, mahalaga ang malaman ang signs ng attack. Mabilis na mag-react, pigilan ang pagkalat, at smooth na mag-recover para mapanatiling secure ang organization mo.
Number 3 natin ay prioritization of the efforts. Meron tayong 4 na categories dyan. Meron tayong business impact, data security, system dependencies, at service level agreements. So, paano ito prioritize? Number 1 natin ay business impact. Alamin kung aling system ang pinaka-apektado sa operation. At number 2, data sensitivity. Unahin ng mga confidentiality at regulated data. At sa system dependencies, tukuyin ang critical infrastructure ng kailangan mauna. At syempre sa service level agreement or SLAS, sundan ng recovery time objective RTO. At syempre meron din tayo sa damage assessment. Ang damage assessment ay mahalaga para matukoy kung gaano kalaki ang naging epekto ng isang security incident. At meron din tayong 4 na categories dito. Syempre, number 1, identity affected assets. Alamin kung alin system at data ang na-compromise. At number 2, quality loss. Sukatin ang financial, operational, at reputational impact. At sa number 3 natin, classify data. Suriin kung may sensitibong data na lumalabas. At number 4, analyze the vulnerabilities. Hanapin ang root and cause at security weaknesses. Sa backup media, kapag may incident, sisiguraduhin na may backup copies na data para hindi mawala ang halagang files. Meron tayong 3 categories din dito para makapag-backup ng media. Number 1, physical media, external o hard drive, magnetic tapes. At syempre meron din cloud storage, remote, scalable at secure backup system. At number 3, network attached storage or NAS para sa local at mabilis na data recovery. At syempre sa pangatlo, backup rule, 3 rules. Number 1 is 3 copies ng data para may extra backup. At syempre, 2 different storage types para hindi lahat nasa isang lugar. At number 1, offsite backup para may backup sa ibang location. Yun lang. Next presenter, please.
And explaining the Disaster Recovery Plan or the DRP. So, what is a DRP or Disaster Recovery Plan? Disaster Recovery Plan or the DRP is a step-by-step guide that helps organization quickly restore important IT systems and services after problems like cyber attacks, natural disasters, or system failures. The goal of DRP is to reduce downtime and prevent data loss, ensuring that the business can keep running. Key components of DRP. Number 1, introduction. Explain what the DRP covers and set recovery goals, how fast system should be restored, and how much data can be lost. Number 2, roles and responsibilities. Assign tasks to IT team, security staff, and management to ensure a smooth response. And the next one is risk assessments. Identifies possible dangers like cyber attacks, power failures, natural disasters, and ranks them by importance. Backup and recovery. It describes how the data is saved, where it is stored, and how it will be restored. The next one is communication plan. This explains how employees and external groups like customers and officials are informed during disaster. Testing and maintenance. It requires regular practice drills and updates to keep the DRP working well. DRP execution phase. Number 1, activation. The DRP start as soon as a disaster happens to limit damage and speed up recovery. Number 2, system restoration. IT team restore system by recovering data from backups and using backup systems to keep things running. The next one is validation. Once systems are working again, security checks and performance tests, make sure everything is safe and running properly. The last one, documentation. After recovery, the team reviews what happened and record lesson learned to improve future disaster response. By following these steps, organization can be reduce risk, minimize downtime of systems, and keep running smoothly even during expected events. Testing and maintaining the DRP. Continuous testing ensure the DRP remaining effective and relevant. Here's the testing methods. Tabletop exercise, simulating response scenarios, full-scale drills, execute full system recovery, after action review, analyze test outcomes, and improve.
Recovery operations in information security. Recovery operations in information security. Recovery operation focus on restoring business functions and its systems after a disruption. Cyber attacks, natural attack, disasters, hardware failures. This process ensures continuity of services, protects critical data, and minimizes downtimes. Tinutukoy nito yung mga hakbang na ginagawa para maibalik yung sistema data at saka yung operasyon. Business Continuity Planning or BCP. Goals of BCP: ensure minimal disruption to critical operations, protect sensitive information and systems, define recovery processes for emergencies, establish rules and responsibilities during crisis. Key components of a BCP: component, purpose, risk assessment, identify and analyze potential threats, business impacts, evaluate the effects disruption, continuity strategies, define how to maintain and restore operations, communication plan, ensures clear internal and external messaging, training and testing regularly train staff and validate the plan.
Developing continuity programs. Continuity programs provide a structured framework to sustain business operation during and after a disruption. Steps to develop a continuity program. So first, identify critical processes, which is to determine mission, critical functions, essentials for organizational survival, and also this process should be prioritized to ensure continuity during disruptions. Assess risk, evaluate internal and external threats, including natural disasters, cyber attacks, and operational vulnerabilities, and conduct risk assessment to identify potential impacts and prioritize mitigation measures. So third is define recovery objectives. It established recovery time objectives, short for IPO, and recovery point objectives, short for RPO. IPO means define the maximum tolerable downtime, while RPOs specifies the acceptable data loss threshold during recovery. So next is for design continuity plans, develop detailed procedure to restore services, including alternate locations, communication strategies, and resource allocations. And also to ensure plans address leadership succession, facilities readiness, and operational reconstitution. So fifth, implement and train, deploy the continuity program and conduct training session for employees. And with regular days and exercise should be performed to test the effectiveness of the plan and familiarize personnel with their rules. And lastly, monitor and update, continuously review the program to address emerging risks, find strategies, and incorporate lessons learned from tests and also to update plans annually or as needed to maintain relevance and effectiveness. Continuity strategies are customized approach to maintain and restore critical function during disruptions. Common continuity strategies. So first, redundant system. This involves duplicating critical systems so that if one fails, the other one can take over immediately, minimizing downtime and ensuring continuous operation. So second is data backup and restoration. Regularly backing up data ensure that it can be quickly recovered in case of data loss due to hardware failure, cyber attacks, other disasters. So third is alternative sites. Using off-site or cloud facilities allows businesses to continue operating from a different location. If their primary site is unavailable due to natural disasters, power outages, or other disruptions. The fourth one is workforce continuity. Remote work capabilities allows employees to continue working even if they cannot physically be at their usual workplace, ensuring that business operation may continue uninterrupted. So last, supplier arrangement, establishing agreement which suppliers ensure that the supply chain remains intact even during disruptions. This can also include having multiple suppliers or agreements that guarantee delivery under various conditions.
other quick options for continuity in business. And this topic illustrates the idea that businesses can use alternative methods to keep operating smoothly even when unexpected challenges arise. The digital hand reaching out represents technology and innovative solutions, while the human hand symbolizes adaptability and action. The idea is that organization can use tools, strategies, and backup plans to stay resilient and continue their operations no matter what happens. Business continuity is about keeping operations running smoothly, even during unexpected disruptions. To achieve this, organization can use strategies like partnering with others for support and setting up backup sites and restore services quickly. These options help ensure resilience and stability in challenging situations. So this image explains two key strategies for business continuity. So the number one would be mutual aid agreement. Organizations can partner with others to share resources and support each other during emergencies. For the number two would be cold, warm, and hot sites. These are backup options for IT systems. Cold site has basic infrastructure but needs setup time, so recovery is slower. Warm site, operational, requiring some setup but faster recovery. The last will be hot site, fully operational and ready to take over instantly if needed. These options ensure business can quickly resume operations during disruption. Okay, this slide represents alternative continuity options for businesses in case of disruption. The number one is virtualization. Using virtual servers allows employees to work remotely, ensuring operations continue even physical servers are inaccessible. Number two is mobile recovery units. Temporary portable office setups can be deployed to keep business operations running if the primary location is compromised. An example provided is a hot site, which is a backup facility that enables a financial department to resume work immediately when the main office is affected. This slide explains about crisis management, which is the process of handling emergencies to ensure an organization can respond effectively. Phases of crisis management. Number one, preparation. Like for example, in a natural disaster, a company creates an emergency evacuation plan for earthquakes, and for the response, employees follow safety protocols during an earthquake. And for the recovery, the company repairs damages and resumes operations. And for the review, the management updates the evacuation lessons learned. And for the second example, like the cyber attack, for the preparation, a bank installs strong security measures to prevent hacking and response. IT experts immediately block hackers and secures customer data. And for recovery, the bank restores systems and informs customer. Lastly, for the review, security is improved to prevent future attacks. And crisis management helps organizations stay prepared and respond effectively and recover faster from unexpected events. Summary key takeaways for the number one, business continuity planning ensures that essential operations keep running during disruption. Two, the continuity programs provide a structured approach to recovering from unexpected events. For the number three, continuity strategies such as data backups and redundant systems help minimize downtime and maintain services. For the number four, alternative options include mutual aid agreements, virtual recovery solutions, and backup locations. And lastly, crisis management focuses on organized planning and rapid response to reduce damage and speed up recovery. These key options highlight the importance of preparation, quick response, and resilience in handling business disruption. Okay, so this will be the end of our presentation, and this is the overall summary of our topic. 12 about preparing for the system security plan and recovery operations in information security. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you na sa group niyo, Mark. Kaya lang, ang lakas ng background music, no? So it mixes with your discussion, medyo nakaka-distract.
Yes po, sir. Sorry.
Where's that music coming from? Ano yun, kasama sa recorded? Recorded ba yun?
Yes po. Kaya hindi na po siya masyado ma-edit.
So I guess no, for for the other group na same thing that that yung gagawin nyo. So if ever no, you will be presenting your presentation in recorded version. Make sure i-remove natin yung background noise as much as possible para hindi siya maka-distract do sa pakikinggan mismo ng ating klase. Ayan. But nevertheless so far so good yung presentation ng group nila, Mark. Ayan, so appreciated it much. So they started with a discussion about yung mga incident indicator. So yung incident indicator na yan, it tells a lot of things, it tells a story. Actually, yan yung mistake ko, nung nagkaroon ng hacking o nung cybersecurity incident dito sa cybersecurity hacking dito sa server ng PL Moon. A day before the incident, napansin ko na kaagad na yung isang file sa portal ng PL Moon, nawala yung laman niya. As in, yung index.php, naging blanco yung laman. So I was thinking, baka naman yung kasama ko, na-overwrite lang. So it's already an indicator, that a big thing will happen. So mahirap, mahirap i-set aside yung mga ganong klase mga indicator. Kasi premonition na yun, that there's something going on. And an organization should know intelligently on how to handle those mga incident. It should be communicated properly to the incident response team. May kaso, wala namang IRT dito sa PL Moon. The ICT itself, siya na mismo yung nag-handle ng mga ganong klaseng incident. And so ako, mali ko lang, hindi ko na siya nasabi pa to the rest of the team. So I just keep it to myself. Kasi I was thinking na yun nga, baka naman na-overwrite lang. So, but actually, ayun na, meron na palang hacking na nangyayari sa website ni PL Moon. So kagandahan lang, although not yet, kasi yun ang kagandahan sa sa SSP, siya, outline, formal document which outline yung structure kung paano i-handle ng isang business yung mga ganong klaseng incident. And not only that, everything about the organization to make sure that yung confidentiality, integrity, and availability is hindi nako-compromise. Availability wise, diba, example, na-compromise yung database mo, tama? So make sure dapat meron kang backup. And to make sure that it's working, kailangan yung copy ng backup, tinetest yun kung talagang working siya and hindi siya tampered, di ba? Kasi integrity, pag tampered yung wala na yun, di ba? So it's really crucial, di ba, sa isang organization na merong detailed structure ng isang SSP. So syempre, ang gumagawa nito management, although on our level, in your level, hindi nyo pa siya ma-appreciate, but then at the moment that you step out ng PL Moon, you will feel na ito pala yung SSP. The moment that you get on board, that you get hired sa isang company, pag inisyuhan kayo ng laptop, meron kagad yung mga guidelines and policy paano mo siya gagamitin. Example, di ba, bawal mag-install ng ibang program doon na every week i-access yan remotely ng IT para mag-patch or mag-update o kung ano man, mag-i-scan ng mga antiviruses, so on and so forth. That is part of the SSP. Kasi kung walang SSP, so most likely ang isang organization, baka mamaya pagka nagkaroon ng mga incident like hacking, hindi nila alam kung paano i-handle yung mga ganong incident. And so for the PL Moon, syempre, we're still on the process of creating that. Kasi talaga, napakakunti lang namin dito sa ICT, no? Para makapag-focus kami sa ganyan. But then, in our mind, alam namin kung ano yung dapat gawin kapag lang may mga ganong klaseng incident na nangyari. At least, may mga plans na kami. Like, for example, magkakaroon na si PL mo ng backup internet. O, kumaga, ano yan, no? Yung backup internet na yan, that is part of the backup solution para kung sakaling yung pinaka-primary internet ng PL mo mag-down, meron kagad sasalo. Di ba? O, that is part of the BCP, Business Continuity Plan. O, ano pa? Yeah, no? Nag-establish kami ng server dito para in case lang na mag-down yung server ng PL Moon, so hindi na yung computer ko yung gagamitin server, kundi talagang server talaga as in, no? Fully qualified server na masasabi natin. Okay, so yun, no? Kaya thank you, no, sa group nila, Mark. Yung group, no, yung sa week 14, ayun, pasuyo lang po, paki-message lang ako para at least maibigay ko yung file, okay, yung content para sa inyong gagawing presentation. O kasi by next week na magpe-present yung week number 13. Okay, sige, i-check ko na later on, ha? Yeah, so may may question pa or any concern that you would like to raise? Yeah, so again, no, by next week, isang group lang muna magpe-present. Then for the cyber security, hindi pala, no, sorry. Next week pala, wala tayong klase, no? So magpapangita na tayo pala, tawag dito, after ng Holy Week. So 2 weeks tayong hindi magkikita. Kasi April 9, no? Let's rejoice kasi walang pasok. Ayun. Wala pala pasok ng ng April 9. April 16, Holy Week 'yun. Holy Wednesday pala, sorry. Holy Wednesday. Usually half day ang ang Holy Wednesday. So magkikita na tayo sa April 23. So April 23, get ready na lang yung week 13 at saka yung 14 para lang makaka-catch up tayo. Okay? Ayan, may concern? So yung week week 13 and 14, paki-message na ako para maibigay ko na yung content ng presentation. Okay, so kung wala na, then I'll see you, no? I'll see you then on April 23. Kung may time pa by that day, so siguro ipakita ko lang, no, kung paano, kahit yung konti lang, kung paano pumasok, no, sa mga dark web. Kung hindi ko man ma-demonstrate yung vulnerability scanning, no, kasi nga yung oras natin by that time hindi ko alam kung marami pa matitira. Okay? So sige, no, by the way, later on mag-open na yung faculty evaluation, no, sa student portal. So please, no, everyone should participate. Okay? So huwag kabahan. Okay? Kasi yun nga, I respect, no, yung tinatawag na confidentiality. So just be honest, no, with sa lahat. Actually, this apply to sa lahat ng professor nyo. Be honest, no, be objective, wag subjective. Ayan. Hindi porke galit kayo sa prof na ibabagsak nyo. Ayan, please, no. Hindi porke mahigpit na ibabagsak. Ayan. So kung maayos ako magturo, ayan. So doon nyo sila nakamute pala ako. Sorry naman. Nakamute pala ako. Ay, sorry. No? Hindi ko agad napansin. Itong mga to, hindi naman agad nagsabi. Ulitin ko lang. Ayan, ulitin ko na naman sinabi ko. Please lang paki-message yung week 13 at saka yung week 14. Mag-message na sa akin para doon sa content ng inyong presentation. Kasi by next week, wala tayong pasok. Ayan, let's celebrate. Ayan, April 9 is araw ng Day of Valor. Ayun, Valor. Araw ng Kagitingan. Tapos, April 16, wala tayong klase noon. 100% yon. April 16 kasi Holy Week. No, Holy Wednesday kasi yon. Half day usually ang Holy Wednesday. Kaya magkikita tayo class by April 23. So by April 23, please no, be ready lang yung group assigned sa week 13 at saka week 14. Then siguro, if time no, allow us, no, para mapakita ko lang sa inyo paano pumasok sa dark web, so i-demonstrate ko by April 23. So palagi ko hindi kakayanin yung paggamit ng Nikto, SQL map, tsaka Nmap. Kasi nga, yung oras, dalawang group yung mag-present. Then i-announce ko na lang no, sino yung i-assign ko for the cybersecurity news. Okay, so may ano pa, may concern? Concern, any other thing that you would like to raise? Kung nandito pala kayo by tomorrow, kung nandito lang, although naka-online pala kayo ng so kahit by next week na lang, Monday, pakikuha sa akin yung class president to, pakikuha sa akin yung Scantron sheet para at least meron kayong reference nung score nyo sa exam. Okay, so that will be all for this evening. Ayan, so I'll see you then on April 23. Okay, a blessed night everyone. So you may have your dinner na. Okay, bye-bye. No, see you on April 23.
Sige po, sir.
Ano pala, no? Yeah, mag-open na pala yung student evaluation later on. Please, no? Everyone should participate. Bye-bye.